characters, incidents, names, and situations used in this story are fictitious. The resemblance to any person living or dead is purely coincidental. The following video contains some horror elements and suitable for a mature audience, 16 plus. This channel and video is not for kids.
Hello friends, I am Aryan and welcome to our channel Midnight Horror Stories, where you get to hear true and scary ghost stories. But before starting the story, all the friends who have come to this channel for the first time, please subscribe to the channel, and if you like the story, then definitely introduce yourself in the comment section. Then let's do not take much time and start our story quickly. Friends, today's story is of a boy from Shillong, a small village in Darjeeling, whose name is Sandeep. So let's now hear this story from Sandeep's point of view. Hello friends, my name is Sandeep and I am from Shillong, a small village in Darjeeling district. The scary story that I have brought to you today is one of my school days. This is the story of a very horrific and scary accident that happened to me. Actually, we are residents of the village, but we lived in the city. Because my father used to live in the city and work in a shop. Mom was a housewife, so my mom and dad and I were just our family. However, my grandparents also lived in the village, due to which we used to come to the village occasionally. But grandfather died due to a long illness of cancer. In such a situation, grandmother was left alone and she did not want to leave the village and come to the city with us also. Due to most of the illness, he was not in such a condition that he could do the housework himself. So, Papa asked Mummy to stay in the village after seeing grandma's health. Mom was thinking the same thing, so Mom came to the village. At that time, my father's work was not going well. So my father sent me to the village with him and I was admitted to the same school. Now our school in the village is built in the fields away from the village at the foot of the hill. Before all this happened, I used to come to the village occasionally. But now I am in the village, it had to stay, so I became friends with the children next to me who studied in the same school and were in the same class as me. But I should let you know here that the day I went to that school for the first time, as soon as I stepped inside the gate of that school, a banshee wind passed through me. The gust of wind was so banshee that I was stumbling and falling. As soon as this thing happened, I looked from side to side, but I could not see anything. Then I put it out of my mind and heart and started going to school every day. Now, as I just told you a while ago, I had become friends with some boys from the school from the very first day. But Dinesh and Rohit, two boys living in our neighborhood, were my best friends. Because they lived in my neighborhood, so in such a situation, we had already become friends. On the first day, as soon as I came to class, the teacher asked me about my name, address, and family members. He also told everyone else about me. The children in the village knew very little about me. Then one such time, when I was studying in my class, I got a lot of banshee sound. Of footsteps was heard. It's like the sound of someone's crutch. When I looked out of the window, I saw a teacher going to the school in Badash Day who had a book in his hand, which was also in the hands of other teachers of the school. But he was handicapped in one leg, due to which he was going with the help of Baisakhi. One of his hands was also handicapped, and his appearance was also ordinary. When I was looking at him, the teacher stared at me strangely, and I panicked for a moment. I saw that all the children in the class are studying, are not paying attention to him. So I started reading too. At that time, even while studying, I was repeatedly looking at Banshee Day and that teacher was looking at me. Seeing this, I wondered why he was looking at me, but he didn't say anything to anyone. Seeing me outside like this, the teacher who was teaching us scolded me, so I started studying again. Seeing the handicapped teacher I had seen, I thought that there must be a teacher from the school. So I did not pay much attention to it and continued with my studies. My lunchtime in school, all of us who had brought our tiffin. We all had dinner together and then we all started playing. We were playing hide and seek. When my number came up and I had to find my friends, I started walking around the school looking for them. The school building was also very big and old. After searching for them, when I could not find them, I went to the roof of the school looking for them. When he reached the roof, he saw that there was no one on the roof. But then my eyes went to the corner of the roof on the side, where I saw that at that time, the roof, the same handicapped teacher was sitting on the corner. I was surprised to see that he is handicapped in one leg and hand. It must have been very difficult for them to come up. But why has it come up? Then the teacher stared at me strangely and then a strange smile appeared on his face. He started calling me to him with a gesture of his hand. I was surprised at first, but then I started going that way. At the time, I did not want to go that way, but I don't know why I was walking when someone put a hand on my shoulder from behind. I looked back nervously and there was a boy from my class. He looked at me and said, "What are you doing here?" So I didn't say anything. While saying this, I looked at the teacher and I could no longer see it. I wondered where he had gone so quickly. Seeing me surprised, the boy said, "What happened?" So I hurriedly said nothing. Now he said, "You know that if any teacher comes to know that you are roaming on the roof, then he will scold you. You are new here and this is why you don't know this. Coming to the roof is not allowed. When I saw you coming to the roof, I came to tell you. Let's get out of here before anyone knows." Saying this, he took me by the hand and took me downstairs, and I also went with him. So far I have been wondering where that teacher had gone so quickly, because I was standing on the side of the staircase. I didn't see them go. These things kept coming to my mind again and again. Then I thought, what do I have to do with it? Saying this, ignoring this, I started reading. Because we're in class now.
Lunchtime was also over. While I was reading, I started hearing the same voice of Baisakhi again. Now I looked at Badashde and the teacher was looking at me with a strange smile. Seeing him look at me like this, I went back to reading. But again and again, I was looking at that side, and then the teacher was standing there near the door and looking at me. I couldn't understand why he was staring at me so strangely. Then I thought I would just see it like that. That's why I have my... He paid attention to his studies, and in a short time the teacher also did not know where he went. After that, I came to my house when it was a holiday. My mom and dad asked me how my first day was. So I told them that good enough. Saying this, I then went outside to play with my friends. I played with my friends for a while. After that, the food was ready, so I washed my hands and mouth and ate the food. I studied a little. Then he fell asleep. I slept on the bed between my grandmother and my mother. That's when I heard a voice. She started giving. It's like someone is whispering my name in their ears. Being asleep at the time, I didn't pay much attention to it. But when the voice was heard again and again, now hearing my name and hearing that voice, I opened my eyes nervously. Then the same teacher was sitting next to me and was looking at me smiling strangely. Seeing this, I was very scared. I couldn't understand what he was doing at our house at night. Then he looked at me and said in a terrible voice, "You will come with me, Sandeep. I am alone. Come with me." Saying this, he stretched out his hand towards me, so I got scared. Then he looked into her eyes. I don't know what magic there was in his eyes that made me less afraid, and I had just extended my hand towards him, and I was about to get up and leave when someone grabbed my hand from behind. Now, as soon as someone grabbed my hand, I came to my senses in an instant. Panicked, I looked back and saw my grandmother. She looked at me and said, "Son, where are you going?" Hearing this, I looked at the teacher and did not see her. Now I wonder what is happening to me. In such a situation, seeing me upset like this, my grandmother said, "Son, it seems that you have a habit of walking in sleep and holding my hand and sleeping near me." Then I slept back. But I was now afraid that I had seen that teacher here a while ago. Then where did he go? Thinking of this, I fell into a deep sleep. Then I started dreaming that I was running around on that roof of the school, and that teacher was sitting in a corner and smiling awkwardly. He was looking at me. I was very scared at that time. I wanted to scream, but I couldn't. The same teacher then started laughing strangely at me, and his teeth became quite terrible. Seeing this, my voice was stuck in my throat. I noticed that his whole appearance had also changed. Now he looked terrible. There were marks of strange blood all over the body. There was a black pit under the eyes. His eyes were completely white, and blood was constantly coming out of his mouth. They were so terrible, I woke up in a panic-stirring panic. Now I looked around in fear but could not see anything. My mother and grandmother were asleep, so I held my mother's hand and then fell into a deep sleep. After that, I didn't see anything in my dreams. In the morning, I ignored these things as a dream. I thought that the teacher I saw in my room that night was a dream of mine. That is why he did not pay much attention to these things, and then came out of the house after getting ready for school. I had found both of them. Someone I went to school with. Even today when I was studying, I saw the same teacher staring at me strangely in school, but I didn't say anything to anyone. Then at lunchtime, I saw that the teacher looked at me and smiled strangely and walked into the principal's room with his Baisakhi. I don't know what happened to me. I also ran after him. I went to the principal's room and looked around and saw that teacher was not visible to me. On the front chair, the principal was sitting and doing some work. When he saw me coming, he said, "Son, what happened?" So I hurriedly said nothing and came back out. Now I started thinking that I had seen that teacher going into the room with my own eyes, then why isn't he in the room? All this was quite surprising to me. But after that, when I started doing my studies, I forgot all these things for a moment in my studies. After that, I came home after school. As usual, I had eaten food and slept after studying a little. Like yesterday, your grandmother and I were sleeping in the middle of the bed when I heard a sound like yesterday. Sandeep, come with me. I'm very lonely. Won't you stay with me? Hearing this horrible sound, I opened my eyes and saw that the teacher was near my bed. Now when I started looking at him, he started smiling strangely and slowly blood started coming out of his mouth. Seeing this, my senses were blown away and I started screaming. Seeing me screaming like this, both my grandmother and mother woke up to hear my voice. They asked, "What happened?" So I couldn't say anything. In such a situation, he thought maybe I had a scary dream, so I put me to sleep again and I slept. I woke up the next morning and didn't ignore it as a dream. I was thinking about why I am seeing all this. What the hell is all this? But my childish mind could not think much at that time. When I was going to my school with Rohit and Dinesh, on the way I looked at them and said, "There is a school teacher who is disabled with one leg and one hand." He stared at me strangely, and even at night it feels like I see myself in my room in my house. Hearing this, both of them looked at me in surprise and said, "There is no such teacher in school." Now I looked at him and said, "How do you talk like this? I have seen them go with my own eyes. Yesterday I saw them going to the principal's office. He also had a book in his hand. It looked like he was a teacher." Rohit said, "Teacher, isn't there such a person in school? Where did you see it from?" So Dinesh laughed and said, "It seems that you have seen some ghosts." So when I heard this, I said, "Man, what are you talking about? I am telling the truth." So Rohit laughed and said, "It seems that there is no ghost anywhere." Now I said, "No, I did not see any ghosts. And anyway, I am not afraid of ghosts." Then Dinesh looked at me and said, "Don't talk so big. And you know about our school. People say that a spirit roams here at night. A ghost roams." Then Rohit said, "Yes, this is the case. That is why no one on this side at night. It doesn't come. There is a feeling of being there in this school at night. But during the day, only you see ghosts." Even while saying this, both of them started laughing and started making fun of me, so I said, "What nonsense are you talking about? Now hi Anne, and if not, is he telling the truth?" Talking like this, we went to school. Today when I saw the same teacher roaming outside in Badass Day, when I was studying in the classroom, I asked Dinesh and Rohit to look at him, but they did not know anything, did not show up. I couldn't see anything anymore. Seeing this, I could not understand what was happening to me. In this way, almost 3 days had passed. That's how the teacher looked to me in school. At night, he would stand by my side and ask me to accompany him. But either someone woke up or I myself started screaming in panic. My family members would hear the sound of my screaming and think that I am scared in my dreams, so no one paid much attention. One day when we 3 friends bet on such a ghost, Dinesh and Rohit looked at me and said, "You become very brave, don't you? If you're so brave, then stay in your school for an hour at night, then we believe that you are brave." So Dinesh said, "And if not, do you talk big like that? Otherwise you are the biggest coward." Now I have taken his words on my mind, so I said, "Okay, I am going to stay at this school tonight." "Then what will you give me?" I have been told by Dinesh and Rohit that
When the 3 friends bet on such a ghost, Dinesh and Rohit looked at me and said, "You become very brave, don't you? If you're so brave, then stay in your school for an hour at night. Then we believe that you are brave." So Dinesh said, "And if not, do you talk big like that? Otherwise you are the biggest coward." Now I have taken his words on my mind. Now I said, "Okay, I'm going to stay at this school tonight. Then what will you give me?" I have been told by Dinesh and Rohit that, "You'll say that, but you have to stay here tonight." Now I also nodded yes. I didn't know that I shouldn't have said yes without thinking, because by doing this, I was making the biggest mistake of my life. Now the 3 of us had decided that we would come to school tonight and I would stay in the main school for about 1 hour.
In such a situation, after the holiday, I changed my clothes as usual and went out to play. So that's what the three of us friends talked about. Then I came home and ate dinner, and at night when my mom and grandma both fell asleep, so I sneaked out of my house. I also met Dinesh and Rohit outside the house. Now all three of us are going to do stupid things in the middle of the day, and we got to that school. Now seeing the school from a distance, both Dinesh and Rohit started feeling scared. Now seeing both of them nervous, I said, "Both of you started getting scared from such a distance and call me cowards. You two are real cowards." Hearing this, Ahyan said, "Yes, suppose we are both cowards. If that's not what you're afraid of, then go. 1 hour, stop at that school. Then we will tell you how brave you are." To tell you the truth, I was scared for a moment in the dark. But then I boldly said why not, and I went there. Anyway, there was no lock on the gate outside our school. Just like that, the sangle was closed because no one came to the school due to the fear of being ghosted in the school, and the same people were put in the rooms. Now I opened that door and came in. At that moment, in the darkness around me, I looked around. I felt as if someone was following me, with me. As soon as I realized this, I looked back and saw nothing. Then a strange sound came from all around me. Along with the banshee, strong winds began to blow. So then I looked around nervously and saw the sound of the leaves of the trees and plants. So I mustered up the courage to say to myself, "I am not a coward." Saying this, I started moving forward. As I was moving forward, it felt as if someone had passed by me and whispered something in my ear. But what did he say? I didn't understand it myself. Nervously looking around, I couldn't see anything. Looking back, Dinesh and Rohit were looking at me with torches outside the school. Now I went ahead to be brave in front of their eyes. Now when I came to the school, I looked outside the school and I could not see the torch of both Dinesh and Rohit. Seeing this, I was terrified for a moment. Then I started thinking that maybe both of them did not come back to see that I would not run away in fear. They deliberately must have turned off your flashlight, but I also have to show that I am not a coward. Thinking of this, I started moving forward. Then as someone put a hand on my shoulder from behind, I looked back nervously. But I didn't see anything, so now I started to panic and move forward a bit. He wasn't that old either. I was scared. Suddenly, the doors of the school rooms were locked. In one of the rooms, it seemed as if someone was knocking on the door from inside and repeatedly asking to open the door. As soon as I realized this, I looked at it. There was a knocking sound on the door and a terrible voice of someone was heard along with it. "Get out. Open it to me." I was scared to hear this because the door was locked from outside. I feared myself who could be in the room at this time of night. Thinking of this, I went to the door and tried to hear who it was. Then there was a knock on the door of the next room. Hearing this, I looked at him nervously when suddenly there was a sound of knocking on the doors of all the rooms. In such a situation, sometimes there was a sound of knocking on the door here and sometimes there. Seeing them, I was very scared and I said nervously, "Who is it?" Saying this, I was about to run a little farther forward. Then I started hearing a strange sound coming from the backside of the school. Hearing this, I thought maybe both Dinesh and Rohit are doing this to scare me. So I shouted and said, "No matter what you both do, but I'm not going to be afraid." I was very scared to say this. I could hear the same voice of Vaisakhi from behind that I used to hear another day. Now I nervously moved backwards. When I looked back, I couldn't see anything. Even then there is the sound of crutches. I could hear from my front. You got even more nervous. Now he said nervously, "Who is it? Who is it?" Saying this, I was moving forward. To tell you the truth, I didn't want to stay there for a moment. But what to do? He had to stop to fulfill his condition. Because I was thinking that if I panicked and ran away from here, they would make fun of me again, and I could not see myself being made fun of. In such a situation, I am rejecting something while moving forward. I fell down and hurt my leg. When I looked, I didn't see anything. Now I began to think that I had fallen down on something. Thinking of this, I looked forward. The same teacher saw me standing in front of me, who had Vaisakhi in one hand, seeing which I got scared for a moment and dared to say, "Sir." After hearing this, he started smiling at me strangely and then said, "Stay here with me, Sandeep. I am very lonely here." Hearing this, I looked at him properly and smiled awkwardly. His appearance began to change, which was so horrible that I was very nervous to see it. Now I panicked and started sliding backwards, so he started moving towards me. Seeing this, I started running away. Then he suddenly started running after me, with a limp. In such a situation, I came running to the school gate, which I had left open, but now that gate was closed. I was trying to open that gate over and over again, but the gate was not opening.
In such a panic, I started shouting and asking to open the gate. But neither I nor I saw Dinesh nor Rohit appear. Seeing this, I was very scared. Taking the names of both of them, he said nervously, "Open it. Otherwise he'll kill me. Open it." But no one opened the gate. Then my eyes went up a little bit. The same teacher was sitting at the gate. Seeing the same horrible, scary face, I slid backwards in fear and ran back to the school. I was crying and screaming, but there was no one there to hear my voice. Then I heard a strange sound all around me. Slowly that sound became very banshee. It was happening. Hearing this, I was very scared and ran to the roof. At that time, due to nervousness, I didn't know when I came running to the roof. But then seeing myself on the roof, I was very scared. I started running back to get down from there, but the same teacher was standing on the stairs and looking at me strangely. His horrible scary face scared me a lot. Then the teacher started moving towards me, so I slid back in panic. Now I cried to my mother and grandma. He called out to me, but there was no one to hear my voice in that secluded area. Then the teacher looked at me and said in a terrible voice, "You have to stay with me. I am very alone here." Saying this, he started moving towards me. So nervously I slid backwards and went to the corner of the roof. Now the teacher started asking me to jump down from the roof. His horrible voice was heard all around. Now I was very nervous. So he shouted in a terrible voice in anger, "Sandeep, jump down."
I am not. Then you will always be with me. Jump down. But I was so scared. In such a situation, panicking, I ran past him. He tried to catch me, but I ran down the stairs and came downstairs. Now when I got down and started running in that barrage day, I heard the sound of terrible laughter from all around me. Seeing this, I was afraid to come out of barrage day when suddenly the teacher came in front of me, hanging upside down. I was surprised to see him hanging upside down like this. I was very scared because the teacher was hanging upside down from the balcony upwards. His legs looked quite long. Seeing this, I did not have the courage to run away. I was terrified. Then the teacher started laughing terribly. The sound of his laugh was so banshee that it echoed all around. So I looked around nervously. But now there is no way to escape. I wanted to escape now. At that time, I don't know what power it was that I did not faint even after seeing all this. Now I'm going to run away as soon as I can. Suddenly, something jumped from the wall towards me. Then I saw that the teacher was clinging to the wall and then saw me and jumped towards me. Seeing this, I was running away. Then I came running into the basement. As soon as I came to the basement, I noticed a horrible smell there. It smelled so horrible I can't tell you. Now he looked around nervously and saw that there were webs all over the cellar, as if no one had come there for years, and there was a lot of junk stuff lying around. Seeing this, I could understand something. Before that, all the stuff is in the air. It was flying around. At that time, my voice could not even come out due to nervousness. Then some of the things kept there started coming towards me. So I sat in a corner nervously. I noticed that then the teacher was looking at me strangely in the room, and sitting in that corner, now I felt as if I could not go to sleep. I started to feel very sleepy. I was scared to see me fall asleep like this suddenly, because I was afraid that if I fell asleep, the teacher would kill me. In such a situation, I do not want to because of nervousness. I was sleeping and I was sitting there looking at the horrible teacher. When his eyes fell on me, my breath got stuck in my throat. Now, without delay, I got up and started running out of the basement. Then I heard his terrible voice. I was running away. I didn't know what to do. Then I remembered my grandmother, who used to tell me stories all the time that ghosts can never come to God's temple. So in such a situation, I went running to the temple of Saraswati Mata. When I went to the temple, when he opened the door, the teacher's terrible screams echoed all around. But without looking back, I went inside the temple and sat there nervously. Then I saw that the teacher was running after me while walking terrifyingly. But seeing me in the temple, as soon as he started moving towards the temple, he suddenly started sliding backwards in panic. Seeing this, I looked at him with fear. The teacher was making a horrible sound loudly. He was calling me to him, but I was terribly frightened and sat in the temple trembling. At that time, after screaming and screaming for a long time, I started running around. So a banshee wind began to blow.
Gradually, the thunderstorm had become rainy season. Seeing this, I was very frightened, but he did not come out of that temple. In this way, the teacher turned into a black smoke screaming. Seeing this, my eyes were torn apart. Now it turned into black smoke and started moving around the whole school. I was seeing it all with my own eyes. Then, slowly everything calmed down. But I was so scared, I was tired that I was relieved to come to the temple of the Mother Goddess. Perhaps the Mother Goddess will save me. And I slept there with my head at her feet. When I woke up in the morning, I saw that I was at my house and many people of the village were gathered there. Everyone was talking about all sorts of things. Then Rohit's mother looked at me and said, "Son, Rohit had told us the whole thing. I have scolded this too much. There's no joke like that." Saying this, they started trying to talk to me, but I couldn't say anything because of nervousness. Everyone was questioning me question. Seeing this, my grandmother said that she is not well right now. Don't say anything to it. Hearing this, all the people became silent and after knowing my well-being, seeing me in consciousness, went towards their respective homes. Mom was crying a lot at the time. Grandma was explaining that thank God, Rohit and Dinesh came and told the whole truth at home and we went to find him. Otherwise, I don't know what would have happened. She was talking as she said. While she was talking, I came to know that Dinesh and Rohit were very scared after hearing my screams and ran from there. They came home, where their family was looking for them. When asked where they came from, they fearfully told the whole truth. Hearing this, they were also blown away and came to our house and told the whole truth, where my mother and grandmother were also looking for me nervously. Then all the people of the village went to the school together and picked me up from the temple of Mother Goddess. Now everyone was saying that I don't know what has happened to me there. Now people were gone, but I was listening to grandma and mom. That's when I was about the night. I started thinking. When I started thinking about all that had happened to me, I was so scared that I started screaming in panic. So my mother panicked and held me and said, "You're fine, son?" But I was very scared. Then slowly I came to my senses that I was at home. Then my fear subsided a bit, but the heartbeat was still bigger. There was a lot of nervousness right now. Seeing my condition that day, all the children of the village were so scared that they did not go to school because they heard from the mouths of Dinesh and Rohit that I was screaming a lot of banshee at night. In such a situation, they felt that there were ghosts in the school. In such a situation, no one wanted to go there. In the afternoon, when I was sleeping at my house, I felt as if someone had pinched my leg. I woke up in a hurry when I realized this, but I didn't see anybody. Now nervously, I looked around. Then my grandmother came up to me and said, "What happened, son?" I couldn't say anything and went to sleep. That's when I felt someone whispering in my ear. Listened attentively, so it was the voice of the same teacher who was saying it over and over. "Sandeep, you stay with me. I live very alone. Come on, Sandeep, come with me." As he said this, he was trying to call me to him. Now I opened my eyes nervously, but I didn't see any. But I was so scared that I was afraid even when I was sleeping. Slowly it was dusk like this. People from the neighborhood were coming again and again to ask me news. But my mother and grandmother were very upset to see me silent and silent. People also talk. They were saying that I was in the temple, so I survived. Otherwise, it would have been difficult for me to survive. His words scared my grandmother and mother even more. By evening, my father had arrived. He also scolded my mother that she did not take care of me when I had left home at night and gone to school. He was also upset to see my condition. At night, when I was sleeping, I felt as if the voice was echoing in my ears. Slowly, the voice and banshee came. The same teacher was calling me to him in a terrible voice, because of which
I was also very nervous in my sleep, but I couldn't open my eyes. That's when I realized I was flying through the air. As soon as he realized this, he opened his eyes in a hurry and it was really so. I was waving in the air. Seeing this, I was very scared. When I looked in front of me, the teacher with the same horrible face was sitting and looking at me with a strange smile. My mom and dad were sleeping with me in the middle. Papa was sleeping in Badash Day. Then the teacher came to me and started crying loudly and looked at me and said, "Sandeep, with me? Come on, I am very lonely." As he said this, he extended his hand towards me and his hand began to move strangely. The nails of his hands had also become stranger than before. There were no nails in my hands. Seeing this, I wanted to scream, but I couldn't scream. Then a terrible voice rang in my ears. "Sandeep, come with me. I am very lonely." Hearing this, I started beating my hands and feet. I tried to save myself, but he couldn't do anything even if he wanted to. The teacher smiled at me awkwardly. He came up to me and grabbed my hand. Seeing this, I wanted to release my hand, but he dragged me into the air and forcibly took me along. Now I had lost the power to think. It seemed as if the eyes would close in a moment, but I was forcefully trying to open my eyes. Suddenly, my mother woke up and saw me waving in the air like this. She screamed. As soon as she screamed, he fell on the bed. But I was very nervous. Mom ran out and hugged me. "Leah." I looked nervously at the door. I couldn't see the teacher anywhere, but I was out of breath. I was terrified. At that time, both my grandmother and father woke up after hearing the screaming of my mother. Now when Dad came and started asking, Mom was nervously unable to say anything. Seeing my condition together, Grandma and Papa were very nervous. Now Papa and Grandma asked more, then Mummy dared to tell the whole thing nervously. Hearing this, both father and grandmother were blown away. I didn't panic that night. I was able to speak. I was terrified. The power to think and understand had gone. Seeing my condition and my anxiety now panicking, no one in the house was able to sleep. In the morning, some people from the neighborhood came to know about my condition. Now listening to my father tell me what happened to me last night, knowing this, people became very upset. Gradually, the word spread throughout the village. In such a situation, all the people of the village had gathered at our house. There was now an atmosphere of fear in the same village. Everyone was afraid of the name of the school. Everyone has their own children. I don't want to send them so that they don't go wrong. Again and again, everyone was saying that the soul of that disabled teacher roams there. Maybe that's what scared me. While saying this, everyone was talking about me. Then I heard one thing from those people that years ago, when a new teacher came to the school who was helpless with one leg and one hand, he used to walk with the help of crutches. His appearance was also not good. In such a situation, everyone in school used to make fun of his appearance. Even the staff teachers did not talk to him properly. They used to do it. Occasionally something was said in a laughing manner, which was in jest, but it seemed to go to the teacher's heart and mind. By the way, even in the classroom, the children did not lag behind in making mischief, in making fun of him. Don't miss a chance when he's not been harassed. It was very painful to see this kind of behavior from everyone. At that time, a teacher came to the school. Kavita ma'am was also very beautiful to look at and was also very good in behavior. He was very nice to everyone. So she used to talk to the teacher, whose name was Bansidash, properly. By the way, no one in the staff used to openly make fun of Bansidash sir, but whenever the children did such a thing, Ritu ma'am used to scold them a lot. Even Bansidash sir's ability was highly admired by her. In such a situation, Bansidash sir had also started talking to him properly, and in a short time there was a good friendship between the two. Now Bansidash sir was in love with Kavita ma'am in his heart and mind, because for the first time in his life he had met someone who had He spoke to her properly, didn't see his shortcomings and saw his strengths. He did not make fun of him and praised his ability. Otherwise, even his family members had never spoken to him properly. No one else spoke to them properly. But Kavita ma'am seemed to understand all his problems. Kavita ma'am's sympathy for Bansidash sir had taken the form of a love in Bansidash sir's heart and mind. But it was Bansidash sir's unrequited love, because there was nothing such about Bansidash sir in Kavita ma'am's heart and mind. Slowly these days were passing by, but one day something happened that Bansidash sir had not even imagined in his dream. It happened so that one day during school in the morning, Kavita ma'am came to school with a box of sweets and started giving sweets to everyone. Seeing them so happy at that time and asking the reason for giving sweets, they told everyone that their relation was fixed. When Bansidash sir heard this, he was blown away because he felt that the way he wanted Kavita ma'am, she would also want him. But today, hearing about their relation, she was very much more than they were upset. Even among the staff at the school, people had earlier suspected that Kavita ma'am's sympathy was mistaken for love by Bansidash sir. In such a situation, people also used to make fun of them behind their backs. But now everyone was laughing at the face of Bansidash sir. Everyone was jokingly or commenting on Bansidash by twisting things. At the same time, Kavita was deliberately discussing her marriage to ma'am, which Bansidash sir was having a lot of trouble with him. The same Kavita ma'am was unaware of all this. In such a situation, seeing Bansidash sir sad and upset, when Kavita ma'am alone asked Bansidash sir the reason for being sad, Bansidash sir dared to tell Kavita ma'am about his heart. Kavita's senses blew away. Even at that time, she acted calmly and tried to convince Bansidash sir that there was nothing like this in her heart. But Bansidash sir wanted to force his love on her. So Kavita ma'am also got angry and she looked at him and said angrily, "How did you even think that I would marry you? Where are you and where am I? There is no match between the two. Hey, as a human being I have asked you, what good things did you think of me like this? Don't ever talk nonsense in front of me from now on." Saying this, she angrily left school early that day and went home. In the same way, the behavior of the people already hurt him. But today, after hearing all this from the mouth of Kavita ma'am, Bansidash sir was heartbroken. Because of all this, he was in a lot of trouble. By the way, he was the resident of the neighboring village. He went home when school was over. The next day, he came to school and read Kavita ma'am's poem.
Waited for it to arrive, but Kavita ma'am did not come. Someone came to know that she was busy preparing for her marriage. The same poem, "Ma'am," when Bansi was telling Dash sir that she doesn't love him, then a teacher there had heard this and had said this to the entire staff, due to which everyone started making fun of Bansi Dash sir. For one, Bansi Dash sir was already in trouble with the fact that Kavita, whom he loved very much, she's marrying someone else, she's going away. It was hard for him to tolerate doing all this. From above, everyone's taunts from all of these. He was very sad. In such a situation, he started living alone. He didn't talk much to anyone. They didn't sit next to anyone. Even his temperament had become irritable, because of which he started venting his anger on doing a little mischief on the children. They used to scold them. In such a situation, some naughty children who did not even do their homework and made fun of them. One day, Bansi Dash sir got angry and raised his hand on him, due to which they became very angry and those 4 children thought of a prank. Them. Bansi Dash was to take revenge on the head. But in this mischief, they did not even know what was going to happen. One day when Ritu ma'am came to school, Bansi Dash sir tried to talk to her, but he didn't even talk to them properly. Seeing this, those children made a plan and told Bansi Dash sir at lunchtime that Kavita ma'am is calling them alone on the terrace above. Bansi Dash sir was very happy to hear this. I thought that maybe everything would be fine now, and he was handicapped as he climbed on the roof, but somehow they had climbed. There he went and saw that Kavita was not there. When Bansi Dash looked back, there were 4 children standing there who were students of class 10. Seeing this, Bansi Dash sir started shouting at him in anger. Then those children snatched his crutches from his hand. It was very difficult for Bansi Dash sir to walk without it. He now started running around making fun of him, and Bansi Dash sir started trying to snatch the crutches from him. Seeing this, the children put the crutches of Bansi Dash sir on the balcony and asked Bansi Dash sir to take it. Seeing this, Bansi Dash sir said a lot that he would return them, bring the Vaisakis and give them to them. But all those children came running down because the school lunchtime was over. Seeing this, Bansi Dash sir had called out to someone, then all the children had gone to their classroom and all the staff was in the office. So no one probably heard the sound of their screaming. No one knew about the condition of Bansi Dash on the roof above. Seeing this, as soon as Bansi Dash sir started taking his crutches, his balance deteriorated and he fell down from the roof, due to which his head was torn off by hitting the stones lying below. Blood came out of his mouth. By the way, when he fell from the roof, a teacher of the school saw him falling while going to the classroom, and he called everyone by giving a voice. Bansi Dash sir immediately rushed him to the hospital after seeing his condition. But before reaching there, he had given up his life in agony. Suddenly, everyone became very upset due to this accident in the school. The 4 children were very scared. But the rest of the children who had seen those children talking to Bansi Dash sir saw him go up to the roof. They told this to the principal sir. In such a situation, the 4 children also confessed their crime. The next day, the police also came, interrogated, and those 4 children were sent to a juvenile home, where he was discharged at the age of 18, and it was the most surprising thing for me that one of those 4 children was my father, who had done all this in ignorance that Bansi Dash sir lost his life. When dad came home from a juvenile home after he was 18, my grandfather asked him to come to the city to avoid people's taunts. Shifter, where he started working in a shop. My father seldom came to the village.
I knew all these things now. By the way, people say that since the death of Bansi Dash Sir, every night the spirit of Bansi Dash Sir roams that school. The sound of his screaming is clearly heard. But some people just called it a false rumor and some people believed it. Some people used to tell all of them nonsense. No matter what, the children studying in the school have never had any such feeling that makes them feel that the spirit of Bansi Dash Sir still roams in that same school. But after the incident that happened to me, people were slowly beginning to believe that the spirit of Bansi Dash Sir really roamed that school. People also said that perhaps the spirit of Bansi Dash Sir has come from me to avenge his father. My father was very upset because of all this. By the way, even after the death of Bansi Dash Sir, he regretted his mistakes. But he couldn't do anything now. That was what everyone felt now. So the soul of that teacher gives me, she will take it with her forever. In such a situation, my family was also in a lot of trouble. Now some people of the village told my family about Jogi Baba, living in a nearby village, who used to remove obstacles like ghosts. In such a situation, my father and some people from the neighboring village took me to him. When my father and the people of the village heard all the things about the incident with Jogi Baba, he closed his eyes and said that the spirit was after it, so she will take it with her and accept it. Hearing this, my father got very nervous. Then Jogi Baba opened his eyes and said that by the way, the soul of that teacher always roams in that school, but no one saw him. Except for me. When I saw that soul on the first day, I saw it. That soul realized that I could see it, because of which I can also hear the voice of that soul. That's why that spirit began to dominate me. Otherwise, she couldn't do anything even if she wanted to. Saying this, Jogi Baba looked at his father and said, knowingly, unknowingly, you had made a mistake. For the punishment, your son has found it. That spirit wants to take your son with him to take revenge on you. And such a soul does not leave the chase until it finds what it wants. Now hearing this, Papa said that I had made a big mistake, but at the time I didn't know that something like this would happen. We did it all as a joke. The age was not so much, but it is not right that my son should be punished for my mistake, even if that spirit takes my life, but don't do that. Saying this Jogi Baba about saving me with folded hands, I started talking. When my father and the people of the village folded their hands and asked Jogi Baba to tell me any way to get rid of that soul, Jogi Baba told me that if my clothes are washed with the water of the rivers with the water of 7 different ponds, step wells, rivers, then if those clothes are put in that school by me, then that soul will leave me forever. Because with both his minds, my name will be limited to that school only. After that, I would never go to that school again, and at night, I would never even step into that school. But this work has to be done very carefully, because whoever does this work, that soul can think of causing him any trouble. Hearing this, everyone in the village was upset, but it was necessary to do so. At that time, the whole village was united. After coming from Jogi Baba, the same night everyone got together and collected water from 7 places around the village. In it, I opened my clothes which I was wearing, washed them and took me along with me at night, according to Jogi Baba's instructions.
We headed to school. Now, as soon as I opened the gate of the school with the courage of the people of the village, suddenly the wind started blowing all around and the sound of terrible started echoing there. Seeing this, everyone in the village was terrified. I began to panic as soon as I remembered the terrible soul of that teacher. I was trembling as I held my father's hand. Now everyone is moving forward. Before that, he suddenly saw the terrible ghost of that teacher hanging upside down in the air. So everyone's breath was stuck in the throat. Some people were so terrified that, thinking of saving his life, he ran away from school and went towards his home. But some people showed courage and lit a fire towards the teacher's soul. Then he started shouting loudly and terribly, trying to frighten everyone. His voice was so terrible that everyone was terrified. Suddenly, the teacher looked at me and a strange smile appeared on his face. Before anyone could understand this, I was flying in the air on my own from my place. Seeing this, everyone's senses were blown away. My father tried to save me. I tried very hard to catch up, but I couldn't. Now everyone is nervous. Then the teacher stretched out his hand and grabbed me by the throat. Seeing this, I was very scared. Then my father looked at the teacher and cried with folded hands, "Punish me for my mistake, but leave my son." Then the teacher stared at my father and shouted angrily, "That day you made fun of my life. Today your son and your life will be made fun of." Laughed horribly as he said it. That time I was crying to save myself. The people of the village were also throwing fire towards him to save me from that spirit. But the teacher took me from there and started waving in the air towards the roof of the school. when an old man of the village took the name of God and threw the torch burning from the fire towards the soul of that teacher, suddenly the teacher's soul turned backwards in panic. And I got out of his hand and fell in front of the temple of the mother goddess, which was a short distance. I had a slight head injury. Seeing this, my father ran there and asked me to go there. They sat in the temple of the mother goddess, so that soul cannot harm me. I was very scared at that time. Seeing me nervous, my father was explaining that nothing will happen if the goddess is a mother, but my brain had stopped working. I was looking at that spirit nervously. Now the teacher was screaming in a terrible voice. Seeing this, the people of the village were also very scared. Then the villagers came to me. With a fire in his hand, he surrounded me from all sides, and I accompanied him to the place where the teacher had fallen from that roof. Papa told me the place, and I put the clothes there. But now it was difficult for us to get out of there, because now the sound of that teacher's terrible screaming and crying was heard all around. I couldn't understand where the voices were coming from. The soul was no longer visible. Only voices could be heard from all around. In such a situation, no one could understand what to do. Then we started trying to run away from there by taking the name of God. Then suddenly the wind started blowing, due to which the burning torches of all the fire were extinguished. Now as soon as the fire was extinguished, there was a scream of people, because someone felt as if someone was grabbing their leg and pulling them. Someone felt as if someone was strangling them. Fear was spread everywhere. The people of the village were now beginning to see their death. Then the spirit appeared to us, which was in a very terrible form. The whole body was white, eyeballs white, and blood was coming out of the mouth. At the same time, his whole head started to explode, in which blood and flesh started coming out from all over the place. Seeing this, we were very scared. Then the teacher held his hand to me. Just then, Jogi Baba reached there. As soon as he went there speaking the mantra in a banshee voice, seeing him coming, the teacher's soul slipped back in panic. Now there was an outcry in the whole school. The teacher's spirit tried to scare them, but Jogi Baba was not one to be afraid. He pointed to all the people, and on seeing this, everyone came to him. Now when he started chanting mantras loudly, that soul started suffering in pain, started screaming. Seeing this, Jogi Baba of the village, on the strength of his accomplishments, had rescued people. But they were very nervous. That night, no one slept in the village even for a moment. Everyone was haunted by an unknown fear. I had a fever right away. Now there was an atmosphere of fear all around. So let alone sending children to that school, no one wanted to look at the school anymore. The next day, seeing no child coming to school, the principal sir came to the village and talked to everyone. He himself got upset. In such a situation, the principal sir met all the villagers and talked to them and started a discussion in the school.
Thought of conducting a holy havan so that evil spirit would go away forever. That night, the people of the village gathered in my house that the spirit would not hurt me again, but we did what Jogi Baba had told us. In such a situation, that night, that spirit did not appear to me again, nor tried to scare me or take me with him. Slowly the night passed in this way. In the morning, as soon as the holy havan was to be organized in the school with the people of the village, the banshee storm started blowing. Seeing this, everyone panicked. Havan with great difficulty, trying to do it. Suddenly, the whole school looked like someone was running away. His voice was heard, but no one was visible. Then the sound of crutches was also heard. Seeing this, all the people of the village were terrified. At that time, he had not taken the small children and women of the village. Then a terrible sound was heard. No one can get me out of here. I'll stay here. This sound was so terrible that everyone's heart came to the mouth. Then the sound of someone screaming, crying engaged, because of which people were so scared even during the day that they did not want to stay there even for a moment. Somehow an attempt was made to complete the havan, but the havan was not completed. Before that, a lot of blood came from there. Seeing this, panicked people ran away to their homes. Now everyone was very scared. I didn't even want to look at school. That night, the people of the village said that they had heard a very loud screaming sound in that school. In such a situation, no one sends their children to that school anymore.
In view of such a situation, the principal sir told the collector sir about this. Then after 2 days, the district collector sir himself came to the village. After knowing all the things and hearing all the things, he believed them and rented an empty house in the village for some time for the school. With this, the construction of the new school building had begun. The old school building was abandoned forever. Gradually, with the passage of time, the building started to be built, and then when the building was ready, it was inaugurated according to the auspicious time, and then the school started there. There is no problem of any kind so far. No one thinks it's right to go that way anymore. People say that even today, the voice of that teacher's soul is heard there. Today people know the school as a ghost school. But after the incident that happened to me, my father did not want to leave us in the village anymore. Grandmother was also ready to live with us, knowing everything, so we returned to the city again. Now sometimes they go to the village. So many years have passed, but even today I have not forgotten that incident. Whenever I remember about it, I don't want to tell the truth. I get very nervous. After what had happened to me, I would often get scared and scream in my dreams. My family explained to me. Slowly I was beginning to overcome this fear. After about 6 months, I was living a little better. By the way, sometimes those things often appear in dreams at night, which are very scary. So sometimes at night, it seems as if the spirit of that teacher is still standing near me, staring at me, and taking me with you speaking. In the same way, I have told all of you about this true incident that happened to me. Because sometimes, the good deeds of our loved ones save us from the biggest trouble. So sometimes, the mistakes made by our loved ones knowingly and unknowingly put us in big trouble. Therefore, as far as possible, we should do good deeds so that our children or anyone else does not have to suffer because of us.
So friends, this was our story today. How did you like the story? Please do tell me by commenting in the comment box. And also, those who haven't subscribed to the channel yet, please subscribe to the channel. Take care of yourself and your family. I will meet you soon with a new story. Thank you.